Be careful, it is the fruit of the dead. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Persephone, the goddess of spring, growth, and life. But because of my tragic story, some may associate me with death. For instance, I can control darkness and shadows, and am queen of the underworld. You may be confused why I have such contrasting powers. Allow me to explain. One day, I was picking flowers with some of my friends when the ground opened and Hades, the god of the dead, dragged me down to the underworld with him. Hades had fallen in love with me, as several other gods had, and he knew his sister, my mother, Demeter, would never agree on her flower-loving daughter marrying the god of the dead and living forever in the underworld. So Hades decided to force me to marry him. My mother, who's the goddess of agriculture and the harvest, lived all around the field for me. She loved me dearly, so you can imagine her despair when she couldn't find me after I had disappeared without a trace. But she eventually found out Hades had taken me. The other goddesses tried to comfort her, but she was so heartbroken that she didn't allow crops to grow, and mortals starved due to the famine that followed. My father, Zeus, made Hades return me to the overworld, but before I left, I had eaten pomegranate seeds. I had eaten the fruit of the dead and was doomed to spend 6 months in the underworld each year. Now, I spend part of the year with my mother and the other gods on Olympus, and when I am there, there is life and growth on earth. My mother misses me during the other part of the year, which I am forced to spend with Hades in the underworld. And because of her grief, the plants begin to wilt and fade away, and the world becomes cold. Things only begin to grow again when I return, causing the changes of the seasons. There are always more souls coming to the underworld. Usually, they're just regular mortals who passed away, but once there was a living man who had come. His name was Orpheus, and he was looking for his wife, Eurydice. They had recently been married when Eurydice was bitten by a snake. They missed each other and couldn't bear to be apart. Any other mortal would have died coming to our realm, but Orpheus was protected by the gods. He came to Hades and I with his lyre. His music was beautiful, and it broke my heart to hear how miserable he was without his wife. It took a bit of persuading from me, but Hades finally let him return to the overworld with Eurydice. She would be following him the whole way there, but if he looked back at her, she would be returned to us forever, and Orpheus couldn't come back when he was alive. He decided, a few feet from the exit, to turn and make sure she was there. I saw Eurydice again at the entrance, and I knew Orpheus had made a mistake. He missed her and was killed not long after he lost his wife for the second time. I've seen them together a few times, happy again, even in death. It warms my heart to see people happy and reunited, even in the underworld. Still, don't try to retrieve someone from the underworld. It can do more harm than good. You must be careful when talking about death. Mortals are careful when referring to the underworld and its rulers. They fear that by saying our names, they will draw our attention. They refer to Hades as the hospitable one, for our realm never runs out of room for more souls. I started calling myself Persephone, which means bringer of destruction, but I was named Kore, which means maiden, at birth. The queen of the underworld shouldn't be talking to a mortal this long. You must return to the overworld now before my husband sees you.